Okay, for this, I had to say it. I'm gonna be doing something a little bit different. It's one of those things I got in mind for keeping things interesting and switched up, and hopefully, that you guys want to keep coming back and listening to stuff. I'm gonna do something. Basically, I'm gonna just throw out a few things there, that you might want to check out. Books, music, movies, TV shows, things I've found that I thought were interesting and I liked, and I just want to share them with people out there. And a couple of things I need to say about this too is, some of the stuff you may have heard of, maybe not. It's great. This first time at least, I'm definitely not going to go with anything too outlandish or out there. And secondly, I'm not getting endorsements from anybody. I'm not. This is just stuff I like. It'll always just be things that I'm interested in. Nobody's cutting me a check for saying these things. It's just stuff I think is cool that I think you should check out. Okay, so and first off, I guess we'll start with some literary things. If you just nothing, super deep or fancy or anything like that. Just a few ideas, something you might want to check out. First off, I'm going to start out with Neil Gaiman. He's a pretty well-known author. He's got a bunch of books. Yeah, wrote a whole lot of like graphic novel, comic book type stuff. The Sandman series, a bunch of other things. His work was the basis for the TV show Lucifer. If anybody watches that, they've got a new season out on Netflix now. Again, not a plug, just something if you're interested. He's got a book called American Gods, and there's a couple of sub stories out there that short stories he penned that kind of tie into it. And it's now a series on the Stars Network. They got 2 seasons out. It's pretty good. It's got good writing. It's pretty entertaining. Good acting. So that's the first literary thing I'm going to recommend. If you haven't gotten a chance to check it out, go ahead and give it a read. I enjoyed it. Secondly, I'm going to recommend an author, a guy named Christopher Moore. He's he writes humor. His stuff is it's definitely funny. It's nothing serious. It's nothing deep. Kind of pokes fun at some common tropes and things like that. And realistically, like I said, it's funny stuff. It's thoughtful. It's you got to have your head on at least halfway straight to get it. But definitely entertaining. Out of that, I'm going to recommend. He's got two books that I particularly enjoy. One is called Lamb. It's the Gospel according to Biff, Christ's best friend, and the other one is a book called Fool. It's a retelling of King Lear. Yeah, Shakespeare, the big fancy stuff, although tackled from the perspective of the Black Fool, and I laughed a whole lot while I was reading it, and it's definitely twisted. Not something for the kids, but it's funny. And then my third thing I'm going to recommend taking a look at is Anthony Bourdain. He before he passed away, before he started doing his travel shows, and he did a lot of time in kitchens, as everybody knows, and was kind of a voice for chefs and culinary people and people in the industry. But he also wrote like 10 or 12 books, I think. I don't know the number right off the top of my head. His first 2 books were actually novels. They weren't, before everything started going more like food bent and Kitchen Confidential, which great book if you ever pick it up, take a read. Just don't read it right before you go to dinner. But his first 2 books, the first one was called Bone in the Throat, and it's a book. It's like pseudo autobiographical fiction. I mean, the character is based on him and shady dealings going on in a restaurant. And the second book that he wrote was called Gone Bamboo, and it's like a spy or CIA guy. And it has a mission that just goes way off the rails. Good reads if you're looking for something, to pick up that's not super serious. And then, okay, I guess after that, we're going to go in. I've got a few things you might want to watch if you're not really feeling like picking up any new reading material. First one, and I can't. Nowadays, it's as apt as anything else. It's a movie called Idiocracy. It's by Mike Judge, the creator of Beavis and Butthead. He was he definitely hit a mark on this one. It's about the dumbing down of our society and the whole world basically. And it's a comedy. It's kind of a dark comedy, but it's funny and it's really worth checking out. Second one might be under a lot of people's radars. It stars Jason Statham. It's called Revolver. It's a movie by Guy Ritchie. It's got Andre 3000 in him and Ray Liotta, and it's kind of a twisted psychological, kind of making you question reality kind of deal. And it's a really good flick. I think it's very underrated. It's really worth checking out. Also in that vein of a movie, it's just kind of a gratuitous shoot 'em up action with a little bit of a twist in it. Is Smoking Aces 2, Assassin's Ball. It's a good movie. They were originally going to call it Blowback. It's, like I said, a lot of gratuitous violence and action and stuff, and it's pretty well written, and it's good entertainment when you want to just switch off and watch some stuff. And then there's a miniseries on Amazon, if you have Amazon Prime, based off of Neil Gaiman, the author I mentioned. It's Good Omens. It's a really good miniseries if you're into that kind of stuff. And Good Omens stars David Tennant. You might know him. He was in one of the Harry Potter movies. He was Doctor Who. And Michael Sheen, who was Lucian in the Underworld series. And there's a lot of other names in there, too. It's a mini-series, like I said. And basically, the story was originally written by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. And it's it's like an apocalyptic thing. An angel and a devil, and they get together trying to stop the apocalypse. And it's good.
Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
And then I guess now we'll just do a couple musical things that we can throw out there. Nothing earth-shattering or anything, but first up we got Native Howl. It's kind of like a cross between bluegrass and thrash. I don't know how else to put it. It's bluegrass metal. You can Google it, look them up on Spotify, Facebook. They're out there. They're entertaining. They're definitely unique. Like I said, a lot of people probably heard them. I just found it entertaining. Second off, after that, this one definitely not, anything underground or anything weird. But if as far as hip hop goes, new album just came out recently. Really enjoyed it. Run the Jewels. It's just Google it, Spotify it, whatever. Look it up. You'll thank me. And then, as far as hip-hop goes, if you kind of put one out there for a local guy, a guy out of Chicago is a buddy of mine. You look up Encyclopedia Brown or The Essentials. It's him and another guy out of Chicago, Kenny Keys, doing a collaboration. It's old school. It's real hip hop. It's not like, these mush mouth kids that are out there now getting, rich off of YouTube and rapping like they got a mouth full of crap that they, probably are honestly just too stupid to spit out. I mean, really, it's just not to go off on my grandpa tangents, but I like a lot of things. I like to try and be open-minded when it comes to my musical tastes, and these mush mouth, no talent, can't rhyme, just got all the thought and lyrical content of a bag of water, face tattoo, pants hanging around their ass, honestly got all the depth behind their lyrics of a puddle that's not wet enough to get your Chuck Taylor soaked through. Of course, I could be completely missing the mark on the quality and content of their lyrics, but I'll never know because you can't understand what they're saying. They don't know how to enunciate. They all sound like they got their jaws wired shut. Probably got their ass whipped enough times that they learned how to talk with their teeth clenched. God damn it. It's actual quality music, and I'm going to pop a link to his stuff in the description on this podcast, and check the dude out. He's great. And then as long as I'm plugging people I know too, I'm going to throw one up here. Just if you're into horror movies and Friday the 13th series in particular, Michael Myers, stuff like that. There's a guy, he's a man behind the masks. It's a guy named Mike White. He makes custom Jason Voorhees masks, and gotta make sure I get some love to the people that I know, and you got to check it out. It's pretty cool. He's got some videos where he showing how he did the stuff, and he does custom pieces and things like that. It's really cool. Check it out. At some point, I'm gonna hopefully have both those guys on to talk about whatever, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But realistically, both really cool guys. Check them out. Just if you don't like it and I'm wrong, sue me. Okay, don't sue me. I don't have anything. But if you don't like what I told you, just take it with a grain of salt and feedback or listen for something else. So anyway, I guess I'll conclude there and wrap it up. That's my recommended stuff you all should check out for this session, and hopefully everybody's doing good and taking care of themselves, and take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Don't be stupid, don't suck. That's pretty much all I got to say on this one.